My ex wanted child support for a kid that isn't mine, and my mum and sister are on her side. A few years ago, I dated a girl. The relationship ended badly because she was very controlling and abusive. I moved on with my life and got a decent job a few years later. I'm doing well now, with a comfortable life and some savings. A couple of months after getting my job, my ex contacted me and asked me to talk. I think she wants to reconnect, but instead she showed up. She said the kid was my son and demanded child support. I didn't believe her, but the kid's age matched the time since we cut contact. I got advice from a lawyer and a friend of mine to try to solve this out of court. I offered to take responsibility, pay all the costs, and be an active part of the kid's life. Only after doing a paternity test was everyone okay with this except for my ex. She acted offended and demanded that I just give her the money. She said she deserved it and used all the excuses she could, even contacting my family too. I was trying to avoid taking responsibility for her child, but she ran out of excuses and finally did a paternity test. I'm not the father, as it turns out. She was pretty mad about the result and cried about the money, saying it was unfair and she deserved it. But she didn't accomplish anything. Last week, there was a little party at my parents' house. My brother, a friend, and I were talking, and my brother started to joke about the situation with my ex. My friend and I started to joke about it too. Some of our comments we were joking around, but we were far away from the rest of the house where nobody else could hear us. At least, that's what we thought. We were laughing like maniacs when my sister appeared, really angry, and pushed me against the wall. She had spied on us and heard our conversation and was really mad. She started to yell at us about how horrible we were for mocking a poor woman. A few hours later, after the party ended, she asked me to go to the kitchen with our parents and said how awful I was for the previous situation. My ex had been in contact with her and she believed her version, which was her way of having an intervention. My brother and I were like, "Are you serious?" when she started to say how I forced my ex into being a single mother and that I have the moral obligation to help her. My dad only said that we might have been cruel by making jokes about her, but that I wasn't responsible for that kid. My mom then surprised all of us when she said that even if the kid is not yours, you are making more than enough money to support the child. You should have. I've been getting lots of texts from her since then. My dad and brother are on my side, saying I'm not responsible for her. But my sister is telling me how horrible I am for ruining their lives. My mum only said it's your decision and I respect it. I'm just very disappointed that you ended up being so selfish. I'm aware that she doesn't deserve my money and I'm not planning on giving her any. But the constant harassment from my sister trying to guilt me is just exhausting. Update 1: after my last post, I read all the comments and decided I showed them to my mother. We had to talk about the situation again. She started on my ex's side, but after reading the post and all the comments and opinions, she realized she was wrong. I think the thing that hurt her the most was all the doubts about whether she cheated on my dad and maybe I wasn't his son. If that was the reason she was on her side, we had a very long conversation. She told me that she believed my ex because she was always so nice and kind to her. That's why she decided not to believe me when I told her all the things she did to me during the relationship, because a good girl like her could never do something like that, so I must be lying. After that, she apologized to me and we are good now. On the other hand, my sister was a completely different story. At first, she decided that she wouldn't talk to me until I took responsibility. But after some days, I spoke to her. She is totally on her side, even after showing her everything. She said that none of that mattered because a woman's word goes first, and that's all the proof anyone could need. Also, she said that even if you're not the biological father, you still have a responsibility to her. You need to be man enough to take charge and start acting like a real man. She's a lost cause. I did some research about my ex and found out that shortly after we broke up, she started dating another guy. Maybe she was cheating on me with him before then. I'm not sure. They broke up some weeks later and she had multiple dates until she found out that she was pregnant. I also found out that she had been trying to find a father for her kid for the last 2 years. Next on the list, it looks like she is desperate now because she was never that aggressive with anyone else before. The reason for this post is that some days ago my ex and my sister came to my workplace. They made a big sign with my face that said I abandoned my child and that I was an irresponsible father. They were trying to start drama and just spouting lies over lies to tarnish my reputation. Their intention was to shame me and use social pressure to force me to take charge. Those were literally their words. To not make the story too long, they were escorted out. I had problems at the place I was working. Even after showing my proof and legal documents that prove they were lying, I was warned that this better never happen again or I'd be fired. After that, I contacted my friend, the lawyer, and we are now drafting a very long and detailed paper against my ex and sister. They went too far, so now I'm going against them with everything. Maybe that will scare them enough to leave me alone. Update 2, I'm not allowed to talk much about the lawsuit. The most I can share with you is that my ex was extremely freaked out. When she found out, she was begging to drop it. She offered to take back everything and said she'd never bother or contact me again. She even tried to guilt me, saying I'd ruin her and her son's life. But honestly, I don't care. I got tired of being the good guy a long time ago. She messed with me. Now I'm fighting back. As for my sister, the lawsuit at first only made her worse. Since her attempt to shame me at my job didn't work, she moved it to social media, spreading her lies about me abandoning my child. I'm going to take responsibility for my legal actions, which some people have called acts of censorship and misogyny. In the end, it will be worse for her, not only because I can easily dismiss her defamation, but also because there is now more evidence in our favor. Anyway, this is going to be a long road and we are just beginning. Recently we had a posada at my parents' home, which we use as an excuse to have a big family party before Christmas. I had my doubts because I didn't want to be near my sister, but after some relatives assured me that she wouldn't be there, I decided it was a big mistake. She was there. My mum decided that despite everything that happened, I was taking this too far. She wanted all of us to meet to solve this problem. I tried to get out of there as soon as I realized what she intended, but some relatives tried to stop me. My mum was crying that I needed to stop. She said I was tearing apart the family and needed to learn to forgive and let go. I realized that despite everything, even knowing I was telling the truth, she was still on my sister's side. I got out of there and told her that I'm not going to any family event if she's there. Don't even think about trying this again. At this point, almost all my family knows what she did. Some of them think my sister is crazy, while others think she's crazy. But I'm taking it too far. A couple of days ago, my mum invited me to spend Christmas with them. I didn't want to go after what she did, but I decided to give her a chance after she swore that it wouldn't happen again. Not only did she have plans to do it again, but my brother also warned me that this time she intended to lock. I told my mum that I knew what had happened and that I was done with her and my sister. I also warned her not to talk to me until she realized that she was supporting the wrong person and apologized. She tried to call me several times that day, and she was pretty dramatic when I didn't show up for Christmas. But I'm tired of being the good guy, so I'm going to let it go for now. I hope you had a nice Christmas, and I wish you a happy and drama-free New Year.